Hi, I'm Laurie Couture, author of Nurturing and Empowering Our Sons and Instead of Medicating and Punishing. Today we are going to be talking about young male suicide, the epidemic no one is talking about. Loved ones were shocked to learn that my son's first suicide attempt was reportedly in his therapeutic preschool, approximately 6 or 7 years before he joined my family through adoption. According to Bryson's recollection to me, and later confirmed by records I obtained, the preschool incident was the first of many suicidal gestures, plans, and attempts that ultimately ended in tragic suicide when Bryson was only 23. Yes, little kids, preteens, adolescents, and youths alike can and do contemplate, plan, gesture at, attempt to, and even end their lives. Not only did I lose my own beloved young son to suicide, I have worked with many children and youths, from the little ones to those stepping into young adulthood, who are wrestling in some way with wanting to end their lives. All kids are vulnerable to suicidal ideation, plans, gestures, and non-lethal attempts when they are suffering as emotional pain due to loss and trauma. However, the data is clear that it is our boys and young men who are crucially and catastrophically vulnerable to lethal suicide attempts and to actually ending their lives by suicide. Tragically, our society lacks empathy for our at-risk young sons. Does this lack of empathy muffle the data showing that young male suicide is a silent epidemic? Or does the chicken come before the egg? Perhaps the muffling of the suicide risk facing our young sons results from indifference to the fact that 78% of all suicide victims of all ages are male. This data unequivocally obliterates the current cultural and political narrative that males are a privileged class. Do the privileged really throw themselves off the cliffs of decadence at a percentage of 78% of all suicide victims? Is it really the privileged that suffer such unbearable mental and emotional suffering that life isn't for them? Or does the political narrative have it wrong? The boys and young men who account for 81% of youth suicides in the 10 to 24 category were likely suffering unbearable anguish due to childhood trauma mixed with seemingly inescapable current struggles. Perhaps they also witnessed or experienced no empathy nor validation for the burdens, inequalities, pain, losses, and abuses that boys and men suffer in this world, such as starvation of skin-to-skin contact and emotional nurturance by both parents, circumcision, developmentally inappropriate schools, psychiatric drugging, sexual abuse, dating violence, community violence, human trafficking, body shame, male disposability, lack of male-positive social programs and empowerment initiatives, lack of fathers' rights, incessant anti-male vitriol in the media, sexist social media attacks, college date rape allegations with no due process, and no support for launching into self-confident manhood and healthy romantic partnerships. Theirs was the generation that also grew up with messages of girls rule, boys drool, masculinity is toxic, and boys are stupid, throw rocks at them. It isn't privilege, but pulverization of spirit that has led our young male suicide epidemic, the epidemic that no one is talking about.